Hello English 1101 students, this is Fonda and I'm here to talk to you about this week. So before spring break we're going to finish up Essay 2 and we're going to start to talk about what Essay 3 entails. We're not actually going to start working on Essay 3 yet. What I'm going to show you, and unfortunately we don't have a program on COD's Blackboard where like Panopto, like I have at the other college that I work at, where I can actually upload this to video, but instead I have to tape the screen from my cell phone, so please bear with me while I do this. This PowerPoint will be up on Blackboard, so you'll be able to see this, but I'm narrating this for you so that you can see what we're going to work on. So this is usually a group activity that I do in class that gets you ready for the mindset that you're going to need for Essay 3, which is called Writing to Analyze. So when you're analyzing a topic, you're analyzing a topic very similar to how you're analyzing an image, and that's why I give you this exercise. And it's pretty different than anything that you've done unless you're an art major. But again, the point of this is if we could see things visually and analyze it in this way, this is exactly the same method that you're going to be analyzing your topic for Essay 3. So you'll get the assignment sheet for Essay 3 before spring break, but you're not actually going to you're going to piece together your topic, and I'm going to give you a handout with the boxes to fill in like I did for Essay 2 to piece together Essay 3. All right, so let's talk about this activity. So instead of splitting up into groups, since we're not meeting face-to-face, what I'm going to do instead is have you pick one of the 4 images I'm going to give you individually in the last slides of this PowerPoint. But let's talk about visual analysis. So the definition of visual analysis I have on the screen before me, and it says, visual analysis is the method to interpret information and surroundings from visible messages reaching the eye. This is very similar to writing to analyze because you're interpreting information and everything that goes into that information, you're interpreting it from a visual standpoint instead of reading words on a page. All right, so let's read some words on a page actually, because I'm going to explain to you how we are actually writing to analyze. So when we're looking at images, how would you analyze an image? So first you're going to identify the focal point, meaning what is your eye drawn to first when you see the image? Is it the center of the image? Is there something that sticks out to you in the far right corner of the image? Those are examples. Where is the eye drawn when you're looking at this image? Explain the figure ground contrast. You're probably like, what does that even mean? So the figure is defined as the object, and the ground is actually the background. So what we're tending to do, what I mean by figure ground, we tend to separate images into these 2 categories. We're looking at what is the object that we're interpreting and what in this image is background. So what is the contrast between those 2? Then you're going to note the significance of proximity and similarity. So you're looking at where things are placed. Certain things in the image are similar. There's some differences in the image in terms of color, in terms of shapes, in terms of objects, people. So that's what we're looking at when I'm talking about proximity and similarity. Where are things placed? Why are they placed there? What does that mean in the overall scheme of things in the image? You're going to then describe the use of color or lack thereof, and the effect that it has. Does it have a certain effect that one of the images isn't black and white? It's a lithograph, so it's not actually a painting. Why is it in black and white? Would it be different if it was in color? Or if something is color, is it something that the colors are too drab? So does it have a certain effect on you because the colors aren't really bright and cheery? Those types of things that you're looking at in terms of the image and trying to figure out, what color is doing with it, the effect that it has on you as the audience. Then when I say narrate the line of continuity or continuation from the focal point, what I mean by that is, so the elements that you see in an image, they're arranged on a line or curve, and they're kind of perceived to be related versus those that are not drawn on a certain line or a curve. So is there a certain kind of line of continuation from the focal point, the very first thing you see that grabs your attention when you first look at the painting? So looking at that through the rest of the image. Next, you're going to describe the lines in the image and explain their effect. So meaning, are there certain things, the way that they're drawn, sort of linear, or certain images that have wavy lines or thick brush strokes, or maybe they're dots, right? What does that mean in this image? What does it do? What kind of effects do these, the way that it's drawn, what effects do you see here? You know, what effects do they have? Does the image feature any closure? Are you left with questions like, what is this saying? What is going to happen to these characters after this little scene in this painting? What is happening to answer any questions about what the future has in store? Sort of like right now, we don't have closure on what's going on in our lives because we don't know what's going on with this pandemic as of yet. Then you're going to look at what is the context of the image. This is where you're going to Google the image and see what you could find out. Why did the artist create this piece of art? Who is the artist? When did he create it? When did he create it? The title. Does the title go along with the actual work of art? How does the context add to or reveal the meaning? Does it at all? So you'll have to look that up and see what these paintings are or the lithograph is. And then finally, what is the central message that this image is trying to communicate? Does it have a story that the image is trying to tell? So what you're going to do, instead of splitting up into groups to answer these questions, you're going to answer these questions for me, just, you know, looking at the image. You're going to tell me which of the images that you picked and discuss these specific features. So let's look at what these images are. So the first one that you can choose is, again, we're not splitting up into groups or doing this individually. So the artist is M.C. Escher, and this is one of his most famous lithographs. It's called Relativity. I think that most of you will recognize this. So you're going to look at this image. You're going to look up M.C. Escher and see what you can find out about his artwork and what exactly he's trying to accomplish in works like this, or this one specifically, with all of these questions that you saw on that slide. Let's go to the second image. If you don't choose the first image, there's 3 more to choose from. This one is in the Art Institute of Chicago, and if you've ever seen it in person, it's absolutely stunning. It's Edward Hopper's Nighthawks. This was drawn, listen to me, this was painted in the 1940s. What is the story going on here? So we're looking at, all of these have a story to tell, right? What is the story? Not just the colors and the lines, but the story that is being told. The third image that you can choose is Edvard Munch's The Scream. This is classic expressionist art. So look that up if you don't know what that is, but I'm sure a lot of you have seen this particular image. And then the last painting is Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Memory. This is surrealism, and this is probably the most famous surrealism painting, if not the most famous of Salvador Dali's works. So we're looking at these and we're analyzing them for meaning, for visuals, for everything. This piece of art is your text. You're analyzing this text for meaning, and you're trying to see from this particular text what you can get out of these particular questions. And as you do that and you turn that in, that thought process of looking at one of these images is going to help you to see how it is that we are writing to analyze.